you need to bring that confidence out in the way you convince them, in the way you talk, that you absolutely believe in this product. You absolutely believe in your company. If
Correct.
they don't invest in your company, ideally the way it should be, when you go into that meeting room with investors, when you make a pitch, once the pitch is over, you are not the person who should be worrying at the end of the pitch कि यार investment मिलेगा कि नहीं. Ideally, you should make such a good pitch that the investor should start worrying, "Arey yaar, if I don't invest in this venture, then probably it will be a lost opportunity for me." And that does not just come out from the slides, that comes out from the way you present, the confidence you show. So,
Correct.
whenever you're talking about problem statement, the challenges, the solutions, this confidence needs to come out. Ki, boss, yeah, this is something I want to do.
Hello everyone, I'm Jitendra Singh, banker turned entrepreneur and author of the book Perfect Mastering the Art of Selling. I welcome you to read my story where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and more. Today I have with me Mr. Vineet Barnwal. He is a prominent soft skill trainer and leadership coach in India, boasting nearly 2 decades of experience in the training domain. He has positively impacted the lives of over 45,000 individuals, guiding them to enhance their behavioral skill across diverse sectors, including corporates, startups, and universities. He has a multidimensional background, which includes engineering, management, psychology, and decade-long career in IT industry, equip him with unique perspective of mentoring leaders and corporate professionals. His specialization encompasses soft and behavioral skill training, leadership development, communication, sales and pre-sales strategies, and personality enhancement. Recognizing for his ability to identify obstacles and design effective training programs, he has collaborated with leading firms in various industries. His training methodology is marked by practicality, engagement, and profound impact, infusing with the passion of activities like quizzing, theater, stand ups, comedy, writing, travel, arts, and psychology. Notably, he has worked with esteemed organizations such as Aditya Birla Group, Oracle, IBM, Accenture, Go Air, Tata Group, PwC, Royal Enfield, Wipro, and Reliance, along with social entities like UN, WaterAid, state government, and NGOs. Furthermore, he serves as a guest faculty and mentor at prestigious educational institutes like IIMs, IITs, SPJ-IMR, NITs, Symbiosis, IIFM, NIRMA, and Birla Institute of Technology. He is also sought after speaker on forums addressing topics such as entrepreneurship, leadership, mental health, social and youth issues. In his leisure time, he hosts an online business talk show. Today he will be discussing with us about his life journey. So let us hear from him. Welcome, Vineet sir. The platform is open, and now over to you.
Thank you so much, Jitendra. Always a pleasure interacting with you. Really appreciate your introduction. So, the few times that we have interacted, it has been a very positive and a very uplifting experience for me as well, hearing about your life story. So, this opportunity to share some of my experiences and probably which might help the listeners or the viewers of this show in the future a bit, I'm very glad to do that.
Looking forward to it, sir, and it is pleasure to have you on this platform today. So first thing, sir, I'd like to know from you is how did your past life has affected the person you actually wanted to be in your life and what you are. So it's moreover related to your childhood stories.
Okay. So the honest answer is I don't know. I mean, I won't give you a direct and to the point answer if I don't have one. And the honest answer is I don't know. Because, see, when I was growing up, like most kids, at least during our era, Jitendra, when I say our era, I mean for people currently who are above 20, 25 years old, I'm like 40 plus. So when kids are growing up, their primary goal or the dream is to own a Ferrari or something when they are growing up, a race car, right? So when I was growing up, somehow I always had this feeling of having fun in doing some things that I used to do. I never chased marks. I remember clearly my mom and dad, like, they kept on scolding me even though I was the topper at school. because just to give an example, before 10th exam, like I remember the next day was maths exam, and I was, after a few hours of studies, I felt totally bored. So I picked up my brother's book. My brother was in class 12 that point, and I started reading his economics book. And my parents came and they scolded me, saying, "Oh, what the hell are you doing? Tomorrow is a maths exam, right?" So I don't know what impact it has made, but what I'm sure about is any knowledge that you acquire, whether it's through fun or whether you are seriously putting in effort to acquire the knowledge, be it some skill sets, maybe some professional aspect of things, no knowledge ever goes waste. And that is, you can say, that is the impact of my experience of life. Whatever I've learned since childhood, my dad had a huge impact on the way I look at things. The very mature person, very sensible, very hardworking person, logical person by nature. And throughout growing up, when I looked up to him, it was always the view of a person who focused on how to do things right, how to do things better. It was never that I have to achieve something. There was never an end result in place. It was always a bit better, a bit better. Can you do a bit better? No matter how well you have done. So I think that aspect has stuck with me even today. Like, no matter how good a training program I do, no matter how amazing a feedback I receive, as that person who grew up to be like this, I take the inputs when people are happy, but I devote a bit of time again to see, okay, was there anything else that could be even better than what I have done? So I think that particular thing about how my dad conditioned me, or rather how I looked up to my dad to condition myself, the approach towards life is probably there's always something you can do better. Say, I'm just giving an example. When I cook at home, I like cooking. So even when I cook at home, my effort always is, okay, last time it was like this, but can I cook it in maybe a different way, maybe focus, try something new to make it just a bit better. So that's the answer. Like, I went through this thing the moment you asked it, and honestly, for a moment, it was totally blank. But if I look deeply into it, probably that is the answer. My dad's approach that every small thing can be bettered if you focus on it and if you enjoy it, basically.
Right. That's the actual like thing which, if we start practicing in our life from the very early stage, then definitely it can create wonders for us. And
It can definitely, yeah.
so, sir, if I ask you further, like, what are the things you are passionate about in your life, and what is the role of motivation and inspiration onto it further?
Okay, so the things I am passionate about is learning new things, learning and trying new things. See, what I have realized is, when I was growing up, I was into too many things at a time. I was very curious child by nature. I guess all children are, but I was curious to an extent that I didn't care if I got injuries or brick bats while trying to explore new things. I didn't care whether people scolded me. I didn't care whether people got angry or upset at me. If I had to try something, I had to try it. Even today, it is there to an extent. Now, because of age and experience, you can't explore that much. That is a separate thing. But it was always there. And what I had realized is that when you keep doing that again and again, you, through experience, you become very adept at taking calculated risks. Like, you understand, if I do this, there is a lot of risk, but how do I manage those risks? You play the game while managing the risks. And that is something that through my life experiences, I learned it. What was the second part of the question, Jiten? Sorry,
Motivation and inspiration, how it is impacting.
Yeah. So, motivation and inspiration, in very simple terms, has always been my dad. Just to give you a very brief about his personal story. So, dad was from a family of seven siblings, born in a very poor background because his parents, they had lost all their land and all during the time of 1940, the great Bihar Bengal famine, which was there, right? So they had lost all land and all. So didn't have much resources. And so my grandfather was never into studies, never encouraged anyone either to study, and he wanted to study. So he got some scholarships. He was a topper in school. He was a topper in graduation. Plus two, he got sponsorships for his engineering degree. Throughout the 4 years, he was the topper. He was a gold medalist, and since he didn't have money that point of time, so throughout the 4 years, he had just one pair of shirt and trousers, which he used to wash every day to wear to the next day. The only times he didn't go to college was when his clothes weren't dried enough to go to the next day. And like for 4 years, he used to stitch the clothes in case they were torn and keep wearing the same clothes again and again because he didn't have the money. And in spite of all that, he completed his engineering, as I said, gold medalist and topper 4 years in a row. Got into a good organization. He retired from the organization as the head of $1.5 billion company. And the most, you can say, the fact which impacted me the most was like when he was retiring, the convention in his organization is like when you retire, the organization comes together to give you a farewell, right? My dad got 18 different farewells. Apart from the one where like the entire organization came together, he was the head to give him a farewell. He was so loved and so respected by people that 17 departments under him, every department said, "नहीं, Barnwal साहब को अलग से भी एक farewell देंगे." And I mean, we are three brothers. I was the only one who went there during the time of my dad's farewell because about 10 years back, I had made a promise to my mom whenever dad retires, I'll be there no matter what. So I reached there late at post midnight that day, one day before the farewell, somehow without telling them. And I saw the love that people had for him. Even because he was the organization head, like the organization had given him gardeners, personal bodyguards with guns, drivers, maids, everything. All of them gave him a farewell, and they were like crying when his term came to an end when my mom and dad were leaving. And that is when I understood that TK Paisa is anyway. I knew ever since I was a kid that money is important, success is also important. But how do you define success matters a lot. And for dad and mom, it was always that if people really respect you for the person you are, not what you have achieved, but for the person you are, that matters a lot. So when I go into something, when I interact with people, until unless the person is a total jackass, that's a separate thing. I mean, those people deserve to be treated as jackasses. But otherwise, I make a genuine effort to know the person, to care for the person in front of me, and that usually helps. So the motivation and inspiration part, like I never have to look beyond my dad for anything. Like no matter what challenge life, I'm just giving an example, no matter what challenge life throws at me, I just have to think, okay, there was a time in dad's life where he didn't have any money for 4 years. He was wearing the same shirt, same trouser, washing it every single day. How much more tough my life is? It's not that tough, right? So, okay, no matter what comes, I can manage. So from the inspiration and motivation part, this is always there. And his attitude that no matter what you do, the next time probably you can do it a bit better. I think these two things have stood by me throughout life.
True. That's really wonderful. So, sir, if I ask you about your work and experiences, so I would like to know onto it, like how you started your career, what all you did, how you got into training and learning and development thing.
It's a twisted story, Jitendra. They say you can only analyze life looking backwards. Like how does everything add up, right? You cannot like foresee life, but when you look back at your life, you can analyze it backward. So I'll tell you how I came to this training and education arena. I did my engineering in mechanical. Okay, that was like 20 years back. And what had happened was placement interviews that we had. TCS was the first company that had come for placement in our college. And ours is quite a reputed college. It's amongst the top 2-3 engineering colleges in East India, Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi, and usually amongst top 10-20 colleges across the country. So placement never was that tough a challenge, but especially that year because of the 2K impact and some business challenges that were going on in the industry, people just wanted to get through the very first company. So TCS was the first company. I was in mechanical. I sat for the interview, went through, and the feedback that came from TCS people, the recruiters, was that amongst like we were some 50-60 odd people who were selected. So they pointed out two people's name that these two people gave like really wonderful interviews. So the placement in charge asked me along with the other person that would you want to conduct a short session for the juniors, like about what you did well in the interview. I said, okay, fine. So I did that. That was the first experience of my life where I kind of trained someone, a group of people. Then when my work started in TCS in Chennai, and I have to be very thankful to my first boss. Her name was Srivatsa in Chennai. I love her, adore her, and the best boss I have ever had. I've had six bosses in life. So the best boss by some distance. Okay. So she always used to encourage and give opportunities. So and she was a fabulous trainer also. So I was 6 months into TCS, and 6 months is like no experience in a way. And I was part of quality consulting group as a quality consultant. So as part of trainings, the quality group had to conduct trainings for the employees of the company about various processes, testing, and this and that, right? So Shivasa was a fabulous trainer, and she had to conduct a training, but she fell sick. Her throat gave up. So she just asked me, Vineet, could you conduct this training? You have spent 6 months, you know quite a bit. But I was very scared primarily because most attendants, most participants were 10 to 15 years experienced people at that point of time. And I was just 6 months into corporate life, right? So I was, you can say, shit scared in a way.
Correct.
So I told her it's difficult. She said, don't worry, I'll be there in the training. See, I can't conduct the whole training, but I'll be there. You conduct the training, you take questions. In case you are not able to take a question, you just look at me. I'll understand that you can't answer it, so then I'll answer. Is it okay? I said, yeah, then I can try. So I gave it a shot, and my feedback rating was 73%. So the very first training I conducted. Yeah, for the first time, maybe it was okay. Srivatsa was the trainer in Chennai who used to get the maximum feedback. So there were 2,000 trainers in TCS in Chennai at that point of time across various skill sets. TCS employees only who used to conduct trainings. Srivatsa's rating was 92%. So that was the highest anybody had got in entire TCS Chennai. So when I got 73, I was pretty happy. Srivasa was also very happy that first time kiya hai, so 73 is a good score, and that too such a young guy. But somehow something, like I mentioned my dad's thing, right? That can you improve it further? So I sat on it and I thought about a few things. Can I improve it further? So I went to Srivatsa proactively and said, Srivatsa, I want to do this again. The next time this topic comes, I want to conduct it again. I have a few ideas. So I shortened the presentation. I kept the key points. I made it more interactive and funny, a bit of humor so that people get engaged, some games kind of thing. And this very second training I did, I got a feedback of some 87%. So I modified it even further the next time, which is my third training. I broke the TCS Chennai record. I got 94%. And post that, like, I started getting invited to other training topics also. So all these three were in the same topic. Then people started reaching out to me for other topics. So by the time I left TCS, which was after 2 years, I was already conducting trainings in 7-8 different topics. So apart from my regular daily work, in a month, I used to conduct some 7 to 8 half-a-day trainings because I loved it so much. And obviously, like, the feedback started coming that way. I was the first person to get 100% feedback. I started getting Trainer of the Month award. I got it for 6 months in a row. After that, they brought in a rule that if you have won it once, you can't win it. You can't win it again for the next 1 year, like, because I won it 6 months in a row. So that was the start part of my training experience. Within TCS, I worked as quality consultant, so learned a lot about processes, learned a lot about handling people as well. Then I did my MBA from IIT Delhi, which was in the area of strategy and marketing. So 2 years were fun. A lot of my experience in TCS helped me in handling my MBA, primarily because in TCS, even though it was a quality consulting role, because ours is a small team, we used to frequently interact with the senior most people in TCS, like Chandra, Ramadurai, all of them, like, were at accessible distances to us there. Like, right. I met them personally 20 years back quite often. So because you were interacting with such high people because of the role, such important people, it gave me a lot of exposure to what these people go through, how they behave, how they handle situations. And in turn, I learned a lot from them. Then, post my MBA, I joined Wipro in pre-sales and sales. And that was a fabulous 7-8 years of my life. Wipro, even though it's not a very good paymaster, the culture there is they give you a lot of opportunities. Like, if you can show that you belong there, if your bosses believe that this guy can handle customers, this guy can handle board members, this guy can go to the customer, make a presentation, handle their questions and all, immediately they'll say, okay, get your visa done, travel wherever you want. I mean, across the world, no matter whether you are in a room with CIOs, CFOs, CEOs, just doesn't matter. If they feel you are confident enough, they'll throw you in the sea and they'll say start swimming. So the kind of exposure I got there in 7-8 years was fabulous. Like traveled quite a bit, interacted with people across different cultures, different sectors, you can say. And because I was working in that arena, like every deal that I used to work with, I had to manage anywhere between 20 to 70 people depending on the size of the deal. So that gave me a lot of exposure to different kinds of people across cultures, across geographies. And because of that, I gained a lot of interest into how people's psychology works, especially from the customer side. Like if I'm going to make a pitch in front of a customer, or if I'm preparing a document or a slide for customers, I stopped thinking totally from my end. I always used to place myself in the customer's shoes. Ki bhai, if I'm the customer, what will impress me? Also, like when I am managing multiple people in my team, like there is someone from IT team, there is someone from SAP team, there is somebody from infrastructure, servers, networking, this. But deals mein you have like multiple teams working together, right? So it was always about what I felt was they are experts in technology. They know their game. It's up to you to understand their mindset, how you can bring their A game to the table. As simple as that. Like a lot of times we had deals where we had to acquire people also, the IT, captive IT of other companies. So we had to do people acquisition in say Mexico, in US, in Europe. So uske liye HR team se alag you have to interact. Legal teams say you have to interact. Financial teams say anyway you have to interact for deals. So many people, it all became a game. For me, it was a game of understanding people's mindset and treating them well enough. And this is not just to get work done, genuinely treating them well enough so that they feel bonded with you, then they want to work with you, then they want to give their best for you, right? So that is my journey. So from after a few years in Wipro, about 7-8 years in Wipro, even in Wipro, I used to conduct a lot of training programs once in a while, like for different teams. So again, the feedback was pretty much the same. So after a while, when the sales job, 8 years of constant travel and constant late nights working on weekends to started taking its toll, I realized, okay, probably this is one area I can focus on. So training, I then moved into full-time training. I left my Wipro job. It took a while, in the sense it took almost 1 year to get my first training. I reached out to more than 200 people, 200 known people who had said, interested I am, but you do good training, but maybe not. So karte it took some time, but finally got my first customer. Feedback was good, so I recorded the feedback, I published the feedback. Other people started getting interested. Same thing happened with startups. Like the first startup I did, the feedback was good. I used that feedback to get more customers. Same thing happened with colleges, B schools, engineering colleges and all. When I conducted training programs for them, the students really loved it. So I used to post the feedback. Sooner the word spread. So this is like how it worked for me. This is how my journey has been. And for the last like almost a decade now, I'm fully into this.
Right, really interesting, sir. Lots of like new learning, new kind of opportunities there. So interesting. Now, if I ask you, like, what is your vision, mission, and goal in life for next 5 to 10 years from now?
Okay, Jiten, 5-10 years, honestly, I don't think that with that window in mind ever, because what I've learned in life is you just can't. I mean, as a person, I'm just saying as a person, I don't think so. For me, it makes too much sense. Like if you ask me, if you would have asked me this question while I was working in Wipro, Vineet, what's your 5-10 years vision mission?
Right.
I would have probably said that I'll become a sales head in Wipro, overall sales head or pre-sales head, or maybe some other IT company and be working in say US or Europe, right? But things change. You have to be dynamic according to the change and that happens. And today here I am doing something totally different, right? But coming to the vision, mission, and goals part, see, vision is like in a very, very broad sense what you feel like as a company or as an individual. Mission is something specific within the vision, and goal is something granular within the thing that within the mission of what you are trying to achieve at that point of time, right?
Correct.
For me, I said before earlier also, I focus more on the process part. So you can say there are two parts to this answer. Whether it's vision, mission, or goal, it's the same, two parts. First is to do something, whatever you're doing, can you do it better? Simple as that. And second is from a training perspective. My objective is very simple. Can I deliver a program, whether it's training for corporates, whether it's training for startups like yours, whether it's for universities, right? Can I deliver a program so well that the next time they want something, whether it's a training program or something similar, the first name that should come to their mind is mine. That's it. Simple as that. I'll give an example. So last year in December, I conducted a program for Aditya Birla Group. Okay, so very nice feedback, successful. And towards this April, one of the components of Aditya Birla Group, which is Grasim Industries, you might have heard of it, Grasim. They wanted to conduct a program for their localized team. So the earlier program was for the whole business group, a conglomerate. Then one of them wanted to do it for their own group. So the first name they reached out to was me, because the earlier program they liked it so much. Same thing whether I'm working with a corporate or a college, that it should be so well done that when they want another program, or if somebody asks them, hey boss, do you know someone who can do this kind of program for me, then my name should be the first that comes to them. That is my objective. That's it. Yeah. So I mean, and to this end, I keep modifying and constantly changing my programs. Like a lot of times when I don't have too much travel, I have a bit of time off, a few days off. I can't rest for more than one day, because it starts making me a bit you can say, I can't place a word, I won't say anxious, but I start feeling kind of blah if I don't do anything for 2 days. So after a day off, I'm like, acha chalo, let me see what I can do. So it's always like, we had our program for Finovate in July, right? So already from July to now, the presentation and pitching skills, I have worked on it and modified a few things already. So I keep doing small iterations and changes to things which I am working on, to incorporate new aspects to things which I believe people may like more, and depending on the feedback, I keep updating stuff. So that, I think in a way it helps in ensuring that my ultimate goal, which is to ensure that people remember me whenever they want this kind of work again, that helps.
Right. That's really wonderful, sir. Keep on improving your own self. That is the best thing possible. So if I ask you, like, what are the most important life lessons you have learned from your personal and professional journey so far? Any 2 to 3 things you would like to highlight?
Okay, so first, let me, I know the answer, but let me prioritize it in the way that I have experienced in my life. Okay. And first lesson is, you will never have the perfect situation or answer to anything in life. You will never be perfectly ready for something. That's the basic idea. You will get opportunities, but you should never stop yourself thinking that you're not perfectly ready. What happens here is, let me give you an example. Like, say for example, you are an entrepreneur, right? And you are developing a product for something. You're developing an offering for something. You will always keep thinking, acha, I have developed these five features. Can I add one more feature? So let me add that one more feature, and then we will take it in the market. Or let me do this one additional thing, and then we'll take this in the market. See, by the time you add the 6th feature, your mind or the market situation will start dictating that there are 2 more additional features you can add.
Correct.
So you will never be perfectly ready for anything in life. Similarly, your product or your situation will never be perfect for you to launch. So whether it's your personal life or your professional life, the idea always is, based on the resources I have right now, based on the situation what I am in right now, am I doing my best? Am I utilizing everything to the best? If yes, then I should jump in. Then I should not think too much, because the moment I jump in, obviously then I'll start getting feedback, I'll start getting inputs. Yeah, ye improve karna, ye change karna, this can be modified a bit. That is okay. Anyway, you will keep working, keep modifying everything in life. But that's the first lesson. You will never be perfectly ready for anything. No situation will be perfect for you, no matter what you do.
True.
So that's like, from the lessons and learnings of life, you can say that's number one. Second thing, no matter how well you are doing something, there is still a scope of improvement. So kitna bhi acha kar liya ho, kitna bhi amazing kar liya ho, if you can, and no matter how good the feedback also is, if you can take some time off as a person or even as, say, for example, as an entrepreneur or as a business person or as a corporate leader, and think for a moment, I won this best corporate leader award or I have won this best startup award. Don't go too much into that, you can say, mindset that, okay, I have arrived. I'm there, I have arrived, I'm successful. The moment that goes into your head, that's where the downfall starts, whether it's for an individual or whether it's for even empires in history. When we look at history, the empires, the countries, their strategic ambitions and all, the moment they start thinking that, okay, we are there, nobody can touch us, that is where the downfall starts. So if you can take a few moments off, especially during the times where you have done extremely well, where everyone thinks you are highly successful, you have done a fabulous job, and see where you can probably improve a bit, I think that is crucial for any human being in any field. If you can do that, there's always a chance that you keep growing. And nowhere it is more apparent than two places, I believe. One is sports and second is entrepreneurship. Like, you have a limited number of people around you to help you. And if you don't constantly look into what are the small 1%, 0.5% improvement that I can do here, if you stop focusing on that, then chances of your success goes down drastically.
Correct.
So if you ask me, these two probably are the most important learnings. Another important learning, and this is crucial especially for people, the younger generations, if anybody is listening right now, it is very crucial for them specifically, is when you are doing something that you don't like, when you are doing something that you don't like, or you don't feel there is an immediate returns associated with it, it to a lot of extent determines your overall attitude towards life. See, how you handle things which you don't like doing determines overall your attitude towards life in general. And I'm not saying only professional life, I'm also saying personal life. See, everybody likes doing what they like to do, right? So if you say, for example, if you like playing cricket, if you like batting in cricket, so when you get a chance to bat, you are really happy, you bat, right? But once you get out, right, maybe when your team starts fielding, do you put in the same effort while you're fielding, or do you put in the same effort if you have to bowl, or do you put in the same effort if you have to act as a 12th man bringing water for your teammates, right? So things which you do not like doing, how well you do that often determines your overall attitude and success towards life, in life. What I felt, I'll just give you my example. See, I didn't have a particular interest in training, and that was something I hadn't done it much, and I was not sure if I liked doing it. It happened because my boss was not well. She asked me, Vineet, can you do this for me? Because I'm not well. At the very first moment, the first thought that came was, yeah, I don't want to do this. Because there would be too many seniors and participants, like 15 years plus. I'm 6 months old in TCS. It will impact my impression and blah, blah, blah if something goes wrong, right? But I put in that effort. I put in the same commitment and effort. Ki try karke. Let me put in my same thing when I do cooking, when I do cleaning, when I do something else at home. Same thing when I pick up a hobby or something. That am I putting the same effort which I'll put in things which I really love doing? Because that becomes a part of your habit. See, I'll just give an example. Jiten, you are a founder yourself. You have had a long corporate life and experience in sales and all, right? So in your entrepreneurship work, if you come across 50 different things that you do, right, probably 10 are things which are in your sweet spot. You really love doing, you love interacting with people on those topics, but probably 30, 40 are things which you don't like. But how well you do those 30, 40 things will have a greater impact on your success than the 10 things that you like doing.
True.
So these three key learnings that I think have been important for me. And I believe that play a big role whether you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur in your success.
Really wonderful, sir. Very useful tips for anybody, like whether they are in job or entrepreneurial journey. These things really impact on our day-to-day activities. And since you've been training for quite long, and especially the startups, so since I being a founder of a startup, so my core interest would lie towards there and follow startup as well. So I would like to know on to this further, like what are the essential elements that should be included in a pitch deck to make it more compelling and irresistible to potential investor?
Okay, good. So here you want just the inputs about pitch deck for investors, right? Only
Investors
investors,
first.
right? ठीक है.
Correct.
Or customers also.
Currently investors.
Currently investors. Okay, good. So first thing, people should understand. See, startup is your baby. A startup is your baby, right? So a lot of founders make the mistake of thinking their baby is the best. It's just like parents thinking mera bacha best hai. My kid is the smartest, is the most handsomest or prettiest or the cutest or whatever, right? Now the point is others may not believe so. See, your baby is really good. I'm not questioning that whether your baby is good or not. But the issue starts happening is because it is your baby, you try to highlight all the good things about it. And investors don't have that much time. Simple as that. See, it's your baby. You might like 15 things about your baby. So if I ask you, hey, what's the best thing about your baby? You will want to describe all the 15 things, right? And when you go into such details, because it is your company, you have put years of effort, time, lakhs and crores of money into it to make your startup a functional thing right now. You start thinking that, boss, if somebody is asking me about my startup, let me tell them everything. That's the first roadblock, first major mistake that most entrepreneurs commit. When you're making a pitch deck for investors, typically, I'm just saying typically on an average, you will get 10 to 15 minutes of time. And sometimes it's even less. See, pitch, when you're asking me about the pitch, Jitendra, I'm assuming that you have got the time from the investors for a formal pitch. Like you have got the time to sit in a room, make a presentation. That too will typically last for 10-15 minutes max, including Q&As, right?
Correct.
Most of the times, the opportunities that you will get is a face-to-face conversation of 2-3 minutes with people. It may be in a large hall of people when people are just moving around talking with each other. It might be in an airport, you have met someone, or somebody has introduced you to someone at a party or whatever it might be, right? So what the first thing you need to understand as an investor, as a entrepreneur who's pitching to an investor is, can I simplify the information that I am putting in front of the person?
Correct.
And for that, I have to start thinking about my company from their perspective. See, whether it's investor, whether it's a customer, or whether it's a support partner means a vendor which will work with you, or some IT company which will tie up with you, some banks which will tie up with you, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, no matter what pitch we are making, first thing is, can we understand the pitch from their perspective? Can we understand my company, my startup from their perspective? What is it trying to do?
Correct.
And most investors, apart from a few who are from the technical and that kind of background, most investors, right? Most investors are people who have some kind of family money, or they have some money from previous good investments, and they just want to invest. They don't understand technology too much. They don't understand the nitty-gritties of technologies too much. So if you go to that investor saying, okay, see, I have these 3 interesting technology stacks and aspects which can revolutionize this industry totally, they'll be like, kya bol raha hai? Like, what technology is done? What do they understand about blockchain and AI and other stuff? Yeah, honestly, like, these are people who probably were born in between crores of rupees. They made good investment. I'm not saying they are not talented enough. They're very talented. They know how to utilize money. But if you start talking more about by AI, blockchain, and those aspects, they'll be like, I don't know, right? So the
Right.
important point here is, can we look at the pitch deck when we are making a pitch, when we are making a sales pitch or an investor pitch? Can we look at the pitch deck from their perspective? That if I am an investor, what I want to look in this pitch, look at it in this pitch. So first thing, in very simple terms, what is the problem? And when I say problem, this quite often it is used problem statement, right? In simple terms, in one sentence, can you tell me what is the problem you're trying to address through your company? As simple as that. In one sentence. It could be as simple as, I'm just giving an example here. If I am saying, if say for example, there is no cups in the market, mugs in the market like this, and this is my company which is making this mug. So my problem statement is lack of tall mugs to hold coffee. Abhi hai hi nahi market. Absence of tall mugs in Indian market. That is my problem statement. कि जितने मग्स है अभी तक इतने ही साइज के आते हैं, टॉल मग्स नहीं आते, बस खत्म. So can I, instead of making a very long statement, Like people have a habit. They'll take the main challenge, they'll break it into multiple parts, and they'll try to add all of it in just the problem state, which is not the right approach. See, a problem statement has to be very simple and specific. This is my single problem statement. ये challenge है जिसके लिए कंपनी बनाई है for this challenge. So, right, this is the problem. Then you can, after that, you can divide that particular challenge into sub challenges. So, but the problem statement that you have when you are convincing an investor, if you list down 15 things then and there, once they come out of the meeting room, they won't remember anything. See, human mind also has limitations of memory, right? How much they can remember.
Correct.
So instead of listing 10 things for them, which most of them they'll forget anyways, if you can talk about two key things, maybe 2 or 3 times during your pitch, once the meeting is over, they'll remember the 2-3 things because it has come across multiple times in their minds, right? So your problem statement should be very simple. And the second thing, your solution should be very simple in the sense how you are depicting the solution. Again, see, investors are not technical people mostly.
Right.
You can say my solution to this is through usage of this kind of technology architecture. Maybe in one slide you can demonstrate, you can depict how the technology solution you are bringing in, or how your finance solution you are bringing it, you are integrating it, how it is helping to address that. But don't go too much deep into it. The more deeper you go, the more questions they'll ask you, and you have a limited time of 5-10 minutes to complete your presentation or pitch. Right? You are losing your own time. So very first thing, as you asked about pitch to investors, number one, simple one-line problem statement. Second, you can in that slide itself you can divide the problem into sub challenges. Like, okay, this is the problem. So say for example, difficulty in getting agri credit. Agriculture mein farmers have difficulty getting credit, right? So that is the problem. What are the challenges? Then you can put 4 challenges that they don't get loans on time, interest rates are very high from money lenders and other people and other things, and processing charges are very high for banks and for farmers, and NPAs are very high. But the overall problem statement is one simple statement: difficulty in getting agri credit. Khatam baat.
Correct. Right, you pointed out.
And then you come to the solution slide, that okay, this is my solution, and how my solution next slide. These were the 4 challenges, you remember, start mein your main problem statement. These are the 4 challenges. So based on your solution, your entrepreneurship venture, the solution it is bringing, how those 4 sub challenges are now being addressed. So challenge tha pehle, I'm just giving an example that earlier farmers used to take say 15 to 60 days to get a loan. Right? Now based on my solution, they are getting a loan in 1 day or maybe 1 hour.
Yes.
So what it does is it refreshes the memory of the investors. Ki haan, starting mein 2 minutes back they were talking about problem statement and these 1, 2, 3, 4 challenges, and now they are talking about ki based on my solution these 4 challenges are getting addressed like this.
Correct.
Right? So problem statement, challenges and solutions. Right? Now important point. How one thing is what's the addressable market? That is important because from investors' perspective, they are putting in their money, right? So they want some returns.
Correct.
They want to see scalability. That if I'm investing my money into your venture, what's the scalability? 2 साल में, 3 साल में, 5 साल में कितना बढ़ सकता है? What's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? How much money should I invest? So they want an idea. But the important point here, a lot of people miss, a lot of entrepreneurs miss is they focus more on making the slides impactful, which is a good thing. I'm not denying making fabulous slides does not have any impact at all. It has. But see, at the end of the day, sales or investment also is a human transaction. It's a human transaction. What I mean by human transaction is, say, for example, Jiten, you are a fabulous salesperson yourself. You have your book on sales also, right? So you are trying to sell something to me. If I am not convinced with your confidence and your energy, if I don't trust that aspect, I don't think so I'll ever buy it from you.
That's true.
So same thing happens in your pitch decks. Whether you're pitching to investors or customers or somebody else, you need to bring that confidence out in the way you convince them, in the way you talk, that you absolutely believe in this product. You absolutely believe in your company. If they don't invest in your company, ideally the way it should be, when you go into that meeting room with investors, when you make a pitch, once the pitch is over, you are not the person who should be worrying at the end of the pitch ki yaar investment milega kitna. Ideally, you should make such a good pitch that the investor should start worrying, if I don't invest in this venture, then probably it will be a lost opportunity for me.
Correct.
And that does not just come out from the slides, that comes out from the way you present, the confidence you show. So
Correct.
whenever you're talking about problem statement, the challenges, the solutions, this confidence needs to come out. Boss, yeah, this is something I want to do. This is something we are addressing. This is the kind of response we are getting. It should come up with a lot of confidence, right? Same thing with addressable market. See, PwC, EY, there'll be a lot of research agencies. They'll keep coming up with some report or the other about the market, right? You can put it in your presentation ki this company says it's a $4 billion market, this company says it's a $10 billion market, all that is good. But again, convince kaise karo? Do you have that belief in your voice ki this is a real addressable market and we can address that? We have the strategies in place, we have the team in place. That is important. So problem statement, challenges, solutions, your addressable market and how much you are trying to capture. So worst case scenario, average scenario, and the best case scenario, right? Now, important point here is whether it's an investor or even a customer, why should they put their money in you, or why should they buy your product or start using your offering, right? So you should always have a depiction about how you are different from your competitors. What is the USP about it? What is your USP, unique selling proposition bolte hain? What's your differentiator? What's your key strength? So it can't be that you don't compare yourself with the current or the probably future players, if you're aware of other startups or other companies which are trying to get into that kind of industry. That okay, these are the areas which my startup or my company covers. Maybe I'm just giving an example. If say, for example, if I have a startup which is into fintech, right? And say my competitor is PayPal, one of the competitors, right?
Correct.
So when I'm comparing the features and all, I can put, okay, PayPal has these three things which I also have, but there are two additional aspects which PayPal doesn't have, which I already have. So that's the reason we are going to be better than the market. So the next obvious question that would come is, acha, theek hai, you come into the market, you will probably capture a bit, you will start being successful. So PayPal and other companies will incorporate those features. Big deal. Then, right? So yeah, it is always prudent that when you're comparing yourself with your competitors, when you're showing how am I different from my competitors, you also include a bit of future plan. That right now I'm anyways different. And in future, we as a company will be trying to do 1, 2, 3 different things. Maybe integrating some AI related search or, language translation features which will help users or something which nobody else is doing right. And why is that important is not only are you showing to the investors, ki boss, we are anyway, the product we are coming with is probably better than the existing products in the market. We also have a strategy for future to ensure that we remain better than the others in the market. What it does is two things. First thing, it shows to the investor that we are confident in our product. But I am confident. That's why I'm already thinking about 3 years in the future now that we will bring one additional feature, one additional, unique characteristic or one improvement or whatever, right? First thing. Second thing, again, it tells them that I am so foresighted. I am so sure about this product or this company's success. Indirectly, it puts pressure on their mind. Yaar, ye itna invest kar raha hai. This company or this founder is already made plans for this. They are discussing with, say, Microsoft or some other company for collaboration, some banks for participation and all. That means there is something about this company. Like if I don't invest, then maybe it will be a loss for me. These guys know they are going to succeed. Right? So whenever you're talking about this, your competitors, also it is important, and this is for all the listeners, that it is important to list down that, boss, how we are planning to stay ahead of the competition. See, I'm bringing this product because nobody else is doing this, right? That's what usually an entrepreneurship venture is, right? We understand there is a certain gap, there's a certain problem which nobody is addressing, so that's why I have brought this product. But the moment you become successful, somebody else will bring a rival. And somebody else may bring a bigger scale than you, right? So the idea here is you tell the investors that this is what we are bringing, nobody else has it. And this is what we are trying to bring in the next 3 years. And that is the reason we need your money. That is important. That this is my future plan also. And that's the reason I'm asking you for maybe a few $1 million or whatever it might be that you are looking for. And once that is done, I think, yeah, that's the final thing. The ask that you ask them that since this is my plan of expansion or growth, and this is the required money that I need from you. So, problem statement, challenges, solutions, your addressable market, competition, and future plans. And this last one, I think these should cover. I mean, you anyway won't get more than 10-15 minutes. So,
Correct.
keep your slides simple. Don't overcrowd them with data inputs. Don't put too many pictures. It should be easily readable. It should come out in the form of a story one by one. It should
Correct.
not be cluttered. That's it. Rest,
Uh,
you may have a lot of case studies. You may have a lot of slides with research data and all. So what people should do is they should put them in the slides, but they should put those slides in the appendix, not in the pitch. Your pitch should not have more than these 5-6 aspects that we have discussed.
Right, sir. So I was about to ask you tips and strategies for structuring a
Mm-hmm.
pitch deck, but you already covered this, so I am skipping to the next one. So
Fantastic.
in this competitive landscape of fundraising, what are some common mistakes entrepreneurs should avoid while creating their pitch deck, and how they can stand out to capture investors' attention?
A few of them we have already covered in
Correct.
the previous answer, but two important aspects which come straight to my mind is, first thing, don't confuse between an investor and a customer. See, a lot of times people get confused, and this mistake is very costly for entrepreneurs. See, what happens is my pitch should be customized to whom I am pitching to. If I am looking for money, my focus should primarily be on what my product is bringing to the market, how it is benefiting, what is the addressable scale. And what I've seen a lot of people do is, just to show how good they are, like they're already establishing themselves in the market, they'll put 5-6 case studies in the pitch deck itself, which does not make any sense. See, you can show the traction you have, which is basically, this is a product I'm coming with. I have already, say for example, done pilot projects with 2 banks. I already have 15,000 users of my app, whatever it is. Max one slide, it should cover everything. But people just to show, I have already have these, 4 customers. So case study 1, case study 2, there are 4-5 slides. So people don't get a chance to go to the actual usable slides. So that is one mistake you should avoid. If it is for an investor, in what is the investor interested in? Investor thinks, if I'm investing 100 rupees in Jiten's startup, how much money will I get in 3 years? Or will my 100 rupees get lost? Or will I lose that 100 rupees? That is their mindset. Simple as that. So why should I clutter them with information which is not too much of interest to them? At max, one slide about how good we are as a company, in the sense how many customers are already working and all, that can be done, but not more than that. From their perspective, it is important to keep making them feel, boss, if you invest in us, your money will not go down the drain. And to that end, you have to assure them indirectly throughout the presentation, by your confidence, by your body language also, that if you're investing in me, your money there's a very high chance you'll get returns. And one common mistake that a lot of people do, Jitendra, is, especially during the pitch presentation, especially to investors, they prepare a lot before the pitch. Okay, so they'll go prepared with what kind of questions investors may ask them. But they forget about one important part, what kind of questions they should ask investors. So basically the idea is, can you drive the pitch? So can you start your pitch with a very good, story, questions to the audience to test their understanding, bring a bit of engagement. Everybody has a unique idea. See, if 10 different startups are pitching to investors to get money, all 10 have unique ideas. I'm pretty sure about it. All 10 have good teams. But how you engage them matters quite a bit, and how much confidence the investors get in you. So that aspect is critical. The second aspect is, mostly I've seen people don't even complete their pitches because they put too much unnecessary data. I have seen people trying to put in 20 slide decks in, say, 10 minutes pitch. Boss, half minute में एक slide होगा ही नहीं. It's not possible. You put one slide, immediately there will be questions from the investors. I'm just giving an example. You have a, say, legal tech company. You have a startup in legal technology area, right? Those investors may not have too much knowledge about disputes. And if your startup is about dispute resolution or something, the very first slide they'll start asking questions. Acha, this is not automated. Acha, what would your startup do here? Right? You won't even have a chance to go to the fifth slide. By the time the 10-12 minutes are over, you won't even have a chance to go to the addressable market. So keep your presentation very minimal in the amount of data you put, very clean problem statement. These are the challenges faced by stakeholders. With my solution, these challenges will be addressed. Addressable market is this. At least till the addressable market, or at least you can say till the competition, comparing yourself with competition. These are the 4 5 aspects which should not be missed.
Correct.
If you miss out, if you don't even reach there, and this I have seen with a lot of people, even while talking face to face with investors and all. So, say Jitan, you are an entrepreneur, right? I am an investor. You meet me in a conference. You start talking about your offering, and you have talked about 2 minutes, but you are talking about just the problem statement only for 2 minutes. You think I have that much time to continue talking with you for 10 minutes? I don't. There are 3 people who would be surrounding me by then. They also know I'm an investor, so they'll be standing next to me. The moment you take a pause, somebody else starts talking. You lose your opportunity.
Yes.
Right? So make your slide deck very concise, very clean, least amount of relevant data. That's it. 5 6 slides max. If they want more information, keep all the additional slides in appendix. That is okay. But don't start with too much information. Those are the common mistakes that I feel presenters and entrepreneurs do quite often.
Rightly
And
pointed
if they
out.
can take care of this, it will help them.
Rightly pointed out. I have been through like so many pitch deck sessions, and some of the mistake I already did myself. So that is a huge learning for me as well. And
So perhaps, Jitendra, that could go in your next book.
definitely, this would be really wonderful thing, and I would write another book on startup itself.
Fantastic. I would look forward to it.
Sure, sir. So, sir, we are moving on next one. Back to you.
Hmm.
I ask you, what is your take on success, and how does it look like to you?
Okay, so my take on success is very philosophical in nature because, as I said, I grew up idolizing my dad, whose take on success again has always been very philosophical in nature. And my take on success is pretty simple. Am I doing the best I can in whatever I'm doing? If based on that scenario, I'm doing the best, whatever is possible, I think I'd consider myself successful. I don't measure success in terms of, how much money you have earned or how many positions you have, designations you have managed to achieve in what period of time, or you can say which country you are earning in, which country you have traveled to. No, I don't. So for me, it's very simple. I'll just give an example. When I was working in quality consulting in TCS, my goal was I was a fresher there, and they did not used to take freshers with the sole reason being that freshers don't learn fast enough in quality consulting. It was a difficult job. So when I got a chance, I had kept this thing for myself. Okay, can I learn quickly and do the best I can? And which I did. I put in effort. There were a lot of things I didn't like doing, but as I said before, I put in a lot of effort there. I won multiple awards in TCS, then during MBA also. There are a lot of things I didn't like doing, a lot of subjects I didn't like, but yeah, I put in the effort there. Same thing with Wipro. In Wipro, I really loved pre-sales and sales. But within that also, because of my curiosity, I developed a lot of interest in psychology, how people's mindset behaves, how customer mindset works and all that. So that helped me move into this training part. But here, if you ask me in training, for me, success is very simple, that if I'm doing a good job at my training programs, that people want to come back to me, say for example, the Finovate program that I had done in SPJ for all the entrepreneurship ventures and all. A lot of people have reached out to me post that to connect with me and take inputs from me. So that gives me a feeling that whatever I have done, it makes sense. People have liked it. So for me, that is success. I mean, paisa aaya tha yaar. Sooner or later, you earn money. So that's not a big challenge. But if you occupy the mind space in my field, at least for me, ensuring that I occupy the mind space based on the kind of work I have done, that is success.
Very wonderful, sir. And we are moving on last one. Any message or advice you would like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Okay, so message or advice, I don't think so. I have seen life enough to advise people, but from experiences, that something I would want to share. This is something that I share with people, whether they are students or like senior leadership of corporate teams, whom I mentor from a perspective of leadership coaching. See, we come across a lot of experiences and learnings in life. See, it could be based on a personal experience, based on a professional experience. It could be through a training program. It could be through interaction with people, some guidance or whatever. And this is one of my favorite quotations in life. I find it very Powerful because it is applicable everywhere to everyone. And the quotation goes something like this: if you want to do something, you will find reasons. If you don't want to do it, you will find excuses. So, as simple as that. If you want to improve something, I'm saying from a trainer perspective, whether it's personal life, whether it's professional life, something else, if you want to improve something, you will always find the reasons of trying to improve it. And the idea behind this message to people, especially youngsters, is a lot of times we get enamored by looking at what others are doing. Acha, mera batchmate is doing this, let me also do this. Acha, my friend has started his startup in this area, let me also do this. Don't go by that. Go by what you want to do, where you want to put in that effort. Go in the area where you are comfortable, you feel happy. And once you do that, then you will get challenges, then you keep working, keep improving with all the other aspects that are there. But do not go into an area where you will always look for reasons of not to do something. So that is one advice for people.
Right, sir.
Achha, one learning I forgot to mention, Jiten, and this is important, especially from the startup perspective. This is not a part of pitch or anything, but this is just a learning. And why I'm sharing that is because there are a lot of people I've worked with in startups, and I've seen 2 or 3 very promising startups fail. And one of the key reasons is, see, typically what happens when you're starting up with an entrepreneurship venture, it's typically a small group, right? It's a group of people who are known to each other. वो या तो दोस्त होते हैं या तो work colleagues होते हैं who believe enough in each other to put in that kind of money, that kind of effort to start it, right? Quite often it happens that 4 people come together, they start a company, and they're like, "Ocha, this person is working the most, tu CEO banja, you become the chief operations officer, you become the chief marketing officer," or whatever it is, right? That is a huge mistake. When you get together to start something, look at the strengths and weaknesses of each person.
Correct.
Don't randomly assign roles. I know of one startup, I'm just giving an example, which failed. One startup where 4 people had come together, 3 people were good at their areas, they were given their work accordingly. Fourth ka they were not able to understand. So they just made him the chief marketing officer. And that guy was not good at marketing. So even though the other 3 aspects were going on really well, marketing was not going well. And when they brought in somebody else, this guy got really upset. And there was a huge fight amongst the founders, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, don't mess up your company because you want to give too much priority to your personal relations amongst the founders. At the start itself, demarcate responsibilities based on what's the strengths and weakness of everyone involved in that team. Then it will help a lot in ensuring that you don't mess up things both professionally and personally with your key stakeholders going forward.
Rightly said, sir. That is really important. When you are collaboratively doing something and there are 2, 3, 4 people, you need to understand the core competencies of each person. And on the basis of that, the roles and responsibilities should be assigned. This will really help the organization. Otherwise, you rightly quoted the example wherein they failed. So that may happen. So it was really a wonderful session with you, sir. You have shared your journey that was really inspirational. And you started with no thoughts at your early childhood age about your career and future aspirations. Then gradually you started picking up by becoming better each day. That was the real transformation happened in your journey, which led to now you are transforming so many lives and 45,000 life change. That is amazing journey. And the kind of work you are doing with startups, senior leadership, and multiple other roles, training them about different aspects related to work and professional journey. That is really commendable. And I really enjoyed the discussion about how we can make our startup more better in terms of fundraising process, pitching and pitch deck preparation, and how to present as well. So that was really amazing, sir. And I really enjoyed the session, not only from the perspective of the startup thing, but the learning part more importantly. So looking forward to hear more soon from your side, maybe on some other topic, leadership, or maybe fundraising, or maybe strategic partnership. So looking forward to it. Thank you so very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you so much, Jitendra. Always a pleasure interacting with you, whether it's here in a formal way or informally over the phone. And I'm glad to know that whatever we had discussed can be of help to you and other listeners of this program. So, whenever we get a chance again in the future, Jitendra, it would be absolutely my pleasure to talk about any other topic as well. I hope
Sure, sir.
we connect again soon.
Definitely. And I will also share your social media link along with the interview so that people can be in touch with you, take your help and guidance wherever they feel like. And that will really help them. So, guys, don't forget to check that out too. And thank you so very much, everyone, for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have a good time. Thank you, and bye bye.